Um, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about the DBT skill of what they call this Dear Man. Assertive communication has kind of been a goal of for most counselors to teach people how to deal with problems or asking for what they want or responding to an argument, whatever. Um, and basically what this sounds like as far as like in counseling or therapy is they just it might go something like, I was just talking to my husband the other day and he did this and I just wanted to like punch him in the face or just walk out or just start screaming at him and didn't know what to do, because none of those things are healthy. You don't want to be aggressive, have the cops called on you, knock somebody down, or do anything else that's going to make you kind of feel bad about the way you responded later on. But a lot of people don't have any other don't have like the other skills other than kind of aggressive comebacks. And aggression is not necessarily what you want. It's all it's going to do is they're going to forget everything you said for one thing, and they're just going to remember what you did in response to them, whether screamed them at the top of your lungs or hit them or something. So the best way to respond to things like that, or to even to ask for what you want in general, is via the DBT skill of, and we call it Dear Man. DBT has a bunch of acronyms in it, and I'll go ahead and go through a lot of these as I post more videos. But basically, Dear Man is an acronym that you might see in the description, which talks about describing, um, expressing, being assertive in the way you're expressing things, reinforcing, mindful, appearing confident, and negotiating. It used to be the acronym just used to be DEAR, but it now includes the extra steps with the MAN. So let me go ahead and explain here for you. So uh, if somebody does something you don't like, um, and I'm going to try to think of a good let me think of something kind of like I'll just think of an example that I can kind of frame these things around it. So say your spouse comes home and you're sitting down or watching TV and they start yelling about you about for example, it's like, you look at this house, you're so lazy, you didn't do anything at all while it was gone, and everything's just a mess, and you're such a lazy person. I don't understand how you can just sit there and just, that's one example of somebody just kind of coming at you aggressively and just kind of just like throwing all this stuff at you. So in this situation, what you can do is just describe, the D is to describe what they're saying to you. So when you can say, you know what, you're I'm not lazy, right? So basically this is the way this is going to sound. You're going to describe what they're doing. In other words, calling you lazy, yelling at you, whatever, and how it makes you feel. That's the express. That's the express or the emotion part of it. So you're going to say, when you start yelling at me and you're angry, it really kind of makes me upset. It makes me not want to listen to you, and I wish you would stop it. I wish you would not just figure out a different way to say it, because I'm not gonna sit here and let you call me names. Um, so that you need to communicate differently here with me, because that's you're kind of crossing the line with your name calling, your aggression, your whatever. So describe what they did, express how you feel about it. I say put, in my opinion, best to put an emotion in the words. When you do this, I feel angry, um, and I wish you would not do that. Thank you. That there you're covering describing. You're expressing, you're telling people how it makes you feel. You're being assertive about it. You're sounding like you mean it. You don't want to be like, oh man, I just wish you wouldn't do this. No, you want to kind of like be straightforward, look them in the eye if you can, and just say, this is not acceptable to me. When you come home, you start yelling, you calling me lazy. Um, it really makes me angry. It makes me feel hurt. It makes me not want to listen to you. So I wish you would figure out a different way to do that, and we can talk about that later on. So thank you, and let's see what we can figure out later on when we're both in a better place to talk about it. So let's break that down a little bit. You described how you felt, you expressed, and you put your emotion, you kind of put an emotion into that. When you do this, it makes me feel, you're assertive about it, and you're not being wishy-washy. You're making it known that, you know what, this is just, you're being firm. Um, you want to let them know by, no, in no way is this acceptable to you. So you want to be assertive. You want to be able to look them in the eye if you can do that. Um, you want to thank them for listening after, because it kind of takes the wind out of their sails. They don't really know how to respond to that. So describe, express, assert, reinforce, um, and then just the whole concept of mindfulness, which we're also going to talk about. But a lot of times you just need to sit back, take a breath, and try to think of what you want the outcome to be. You don't want them to, you probably don't want, if you're kind of a reasonable person, you don't want them to be kind of like laying on the floor with a big old nosebleed, right? You want to just kind of let them know that you're really you're pushing their last nerve. They're overstepping their boundaries with you. So you want to be mindful of where what you want to accomplish before you go ahead and respond back to them. That's the M. Appearing confident, I think, kind of goes with right. Kind of goes hand in hand with assertiveness. You know what I mean? You just want to sound like you want to mean what you say, and you don't want to be by any. You don't want to be wishy-washy about it. Although you might feel like the first few times it might feel a little awkward to you, and it might feel that way. But you don't want to, try your best to not be wishy-washy about what you're asking for, and then just, the end is kind of negotiate. Maybe instead of sitting here yelling at me, the next time we can just kind of sit down and figure out a plan for me cleaning the house while you're not here, if I happen to have some time off, or just so you're negotiating. So describe what they did, express, and attach an emotion to it. When you do this, I feel, be assertive when you're doing that, and then thank them for listening. Be mindful before they take a breath, if you have to, and just say, what I want to get out of this is just to kind of let myself be heard, without feeling like I'm just allowing this person to verbally beat me down. But you don't want to be violent about it or yell, which is not generally doesn't really accomplish a whole heck of a lot. You want to appear confident, which goes hand in hand with being assertive about it, right? And then negotiating what you guys can do about this. So, yeah. So that's what it is in a nutshell. Dear man, describe, express, assert, reinforce. I guess I am looking at some notes here. Be mindful of what you're appearing to get out of this conversation. Appear confident in doing it, and negotiate. Now, I want to take this like a little bit further, in that you can just you don't necessarily, this is just about being assertive about what you want in general. So you don't necessarily need to just use this skill as far as, responding to somebody's like rude comments or anything like that, like the way I put in the, description. You can be like, um, you want to ask for a raise, right? You want to describe and just say what's bothering you, or going to your boss and asking for a raise. You can describe and say, you know what, I've been working here a long time. It's been 2 years. It really makes me angry that I have yet to get a raise, from this place, even though they're giving me more and more responsibilities. Um, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much if you just kind of consider it and think about it. And, yeah, and that's kind of, so you're sort of seeing how that goes. It's just, saying what you want, expressing how it makes you feel, being assertive about it, uh, reinforcing it by saying thank you, or whatever whatever that looks like to you. Being mindful, appearing confident, negotiate. That's so when people talk about assertiveness skills, this is the best. This is the way to do it. There is no better way, in my opinion, to describe when something's bothering you and how it makes you feel and how you wish something else could happen, or just make them stop. Um, it works better that you're if somebody says something to you, right, and you just and your response is to not say anything and just punch them in the nose, you're not really you're not communicating anything other than you're being aggressive and you're scaring the crap out of them, but they still don't know what they did, So it's besides kind of keeping you out of jail or out of the doghouse, it helps you express yourself in a way that you can get your needs met and your wants fulfilled, so to speak. So, dear man, a great DBT skill, and I would anytime you really want to kind of you're kind of going over something where you want to be assertive in your communication, or you wish like, what I could have done in that situation. Just sort of think of it like that. I should have said, well, this kind of describes what you should have said or what you should have done. So, describe, express, assert, reinforce. Um, be mindful of what you want the outcome to be, appear confident while you're expressing this, and negotiate however best you can do that. That's it. That's a DBT slash assertiveness skill in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask down below, and in the comment section, I'll be happy to answer whatever you might have, whatever questions you might have, and feel free to like my channel and subscribe. I plan on putting up a bunch more of these here in the future, so feel free to comment, subscribe, and we'll just comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you soon. Okay, Charles Mott here, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.